Blake Bortles!
Blake Bortles!
I feel like mine was better.
Blake Bortles!
Make Blake Bortles! He don't talk like this! He like constantly talks like this! Guys! Hi!
The Jacksonville Jaguars rule!
Jacksonville Jaguars rule!
I can't get the voice right. What's the cheaty line? It's like everything is terrible.
Everything is terrible. I have a bowl of chili. Except that.
What's the Chandler thing from the center? It's like, I just wanted to shake my belly like a bowl full of chili.
Yes, exactly
like a
right.
bowl full of marshmallow chili.
Oh my god.
It's the Good Chat, a good place to have a good chat about the good place.
Nice. Welcome to the Good Chat, a good place to have a good chat about the good place. I'm Anuj TV.
I'm Kieran Kraft.
So, once again, we have been ditched by Sully.
Yeah, she'd rather focus on getting a psychology degree than hanging out with us.
Fair, sure, I guess. I mean, we still hold a grudge. It's fine.
She'll be back eventually once uni's over and she has her life back.
Yeah, true. Anyway, so this week we're chatting about season 3, episode 4, titled Bearimy, directed by Trent O'Donnell, written by Megan Amram.
Megan Amram, the source of all the amazing puns. Or a lot of the amazing puns.
A lot of the amazing puns, which is just incredible. Also, the title. I mean, just so much to talk about already, Karen. But first, let's do our 30-second recap, which we do from memory every single week. Are you ready to rock, paper, scissors it off?
Oh, hang on. I got a message from Sully.
Oh, what did she say?
She knew we were recording. I just wanted to... Hope you guys are having a good recording. Tell the audience I say hi so that when I listen, I'll be saying hi to myself. Sully, hi from yourself.
We're breaking the fourth wall?
You're a good 20th of our listenership.
Yeah. Thank you very much for joining us, Sully. Awesome. Okay.
Rock, paper, scissors to decide who does the 30-second recap.
It's on, my friend.
Oh, it's on like Donkey Kong.
It's on like Donkey Kong. Bring it.
Wait, let's establish what pattern we are doing.
No, we've done this so many times. Come on. It's paper, scissors, rock.
See, again.
No.
You think that's what we've done.
It is.
No, when Verity and Jonathan did it, they had paper, scissors, rock.
No, they didn't.
Yes, they
did.
did.
No, they didn't.
I edited that recording, and I'm telling you, that's what they did.
I was there live listening to it. That is not what they did.
And I edited it. That's what I'm saying. I listened to it more recently than you.
Okay, fine. All right.
Okay.
Which one are we doing?
We can do yawn if you want, but it's paper, scissors, rock. So one for every syllable. Yeah. And we stop on rock?
Yes. I cannot believe this has to happen every single week.
It's because you're wrong.
Maybe we just need to find an easier way of deciding who's going to do it. But I quite like this. So, all right.
I could get out like a D20 or something.
Nah, screw it. All right, bring it.
Okay. Paper, scissors, rock. Oh, paper beats rock. You're going down.
I mean, rock's always done me solid. But this time...
Well, yeah, because it is the solid.
It sunk me. Thank you. I'm here all week.
You're here all month, aren't you?
Yeah, pretty much. All right, Kieran.
Okay, I will start the timer.
Start me off.
3, 2, go.
We have Special Agent Rick Justice and Agent Frenchie on the case. The kids have found out what's going on, the good place, and everything about them dying and shit goes to hell, quite literally. But then things turn out amazingly, except for Chidi, who completely loses his mind. Eleanor does good stuff. Tahani and Jason get married again. And then poor Liam, no, not Liam, what's his name? Ah! Oh my god.
I believe you were looking for Larry Hemsworth.
Larry Hemsworth, oh my god. Larry Hemsworth.
That was not terrible. It is interesting though that like your description was things go to hell and then get better. As though that tells us anything about what happened.
I mean, this show is so unbelievably dense. I
It
feel
is
like
good.
we've said us
I feel like what you were trying to say
Yes.
was they find out that they're destined for hell.
Yes, that's what I meant.
And so they all go through their own like personal kind of breakdown.
Hey, it's easier to articulate when you're not under
Yeah.
time pressure, okay?
Oh, I know.
Anyway, yes, basically, so what I was trying to say before I got interrupted by that
Rudely interrupted.
rudely interrupted by that alarm. What I was trying to say was that our fun little group have now gone from being the Brainy Bunch to being cockroaches again, Team
Yeah.
Cockroach basically again, with Michael and Janet in the loop.
But now like they all know like they've been in hell once and because now they know of the afterlife, their motivations are suspect, which means they will never be able to get into the good place.
Yeah. And now any points that they receive don't count,
Yeah.
basically.
We should go into it though, because they all sort of experience it differently, and
Yes.
obviously Eleanor once again proves why she's the lead.
Yes.
Like she brings them all together.
Yes.
Chidi has a complete existential crisis breakdown.
Oh my god, it was incredible. Let me just right out the bat. Holy moly, mother of jeepers poopers! Why have we not seen William Harper Jackson naked before?
Oh.
What? Like, why did you make us wait 3 seasons, guys? This is not okay.
It
right?
was so good, and like as soon as he walked into the William Jackson Harper, by the way, not William Harper Jackson.
Sorry.
That would be if he and Mark Evan Jackson got married.
Yeah, that's so true.
But yeah, it's so right though, because like he walked into those sprinklers, and like I think you heard me call it. Like
Yes.
he's just gonna stand there and let us look at it.
Yeah.
And then as soon as the shirt started coming out, I was like, oh
We,
yes.
we both, I feel like, had the exact same reaction of like, oh mama, yes. This is why Eleanor gets with Judy.
That's not the only reason why.
I mean, it's not the only reason, but I bet you for Eleanor,
because
it's
again,
a lot
like
of the
he's
reason
not
why.
her type. Her type is Stone Cold Steve Austin.
True.
So she loves him for his mind and his body.
And his body, which, perfect marriage right there. But, oh my god, Chidi's
I loved
breakdown.
it when I loved it because like he was like this drug dealer came up to him and was like, you want to meet God or
Yes.
whatever, and then like and then Chidi starts quoting Nietzsche.
Oh my God.
And like terrifies this dude.
It's so amazing. He's so broken
Yeah.
that the drug dealer calls him weird. And it was like seeing what Chidi would be like if he was kind of like Eleanor, right? Like, that whole scene of him going through the supermarket is exactly what Eleanor does when we see her just before she dies.
Yeah.
And, I mean...
I do though, like when he was like, because he was walking through the supermarket shirtless, and like
Yes.
they had a woman come out to him and say, "Oh, so you need to put a shirt on."
Yeah.
It is Australia though,
Yeah,
so
guys,
like
yeah, this is where you need somebody from the Southern Hemisphere, either from New Zealand or Australia, to be on the team for the writers to be able to say, actually, that would be totally fine.
because like if it were sort of a central city, I can understand like Perth isn't central, but it's like it's not necessarily coastal.
Yeah,
Well, maybe
no,
it is.
it is.
I might be. I think I'm wrong with it.
Pretty much everywhere in
everywhere.
Australia is coastal, except
Apart from like
for
Alice Springs.
Yeah,
But like it's Sydney, like they have beaches, they have famous beaches. Like
Yeah.
people will be shirtless in supermarkets.
yeah. It's just, anyway. We're getting bogged down in details here.
Yeah.
It's fine. We got to see him shirtless. I'm thankful for that.
And then we have Tahani and Jason's storyline where they're together a little bit,
Yes.
and she just starts giving away her money because she's like, I just want to do good.
Yeah, and Jason is able to show her a really productive way of giving back, which is directly giving back to
Yeah.
people who are in need.
Direct action.
Literally giving money to people on the street who need it by going
She doesn't actually check if they need it.
True, but just giving it to
Yeah.
people in general. And I mean, like, I feel like this is such a cool way to see what Jason's role in the group is. Like, I feel like we've always talked about how, like, you know, even though he's a heart dummy, he is the good soul of the group, right? And just even though his actions generally lead to
Disaster.
disaster, this time round, with the knowledge that they want to do something good, he is able to show Tahani exactly how she can do that.
Yeah.
And it's amazing, and it's so heartwarming.
And then we also have Michael and Janet, who, after having been forced to tell the Four everything, the truth about the afterlife, they just sort of realize they're going to have to give up. They start writing down everything they've learned, and they're like, we're going to present this to the judge, and even though we're probably going to be retired, hopefully she'll read it, and maybe the next people who come along will be able to, fix everything.
Yeah.
And then, everything comes together at the end, and things
It
are going...
does.
Yes, the gang's back together. Team Cockroach is back together.
It's so good to see them all together again. And I mean,
And now they're not back together because of a ruse. Now they're, chosen to be back together.
That's exactly right. And the fact that they are all in the know again, but it's again, another new timeline. It's really interesting to see how...
It's a new timeline, but they have already become friends because
Yes.
of their, experience in the study. And so that's interesting.
Yeah, it's different again, which is so cool to see.
Do.
Brought to you by William Harper Jackson.
Brought to you by William Jackson Harper's abs.
Yes, 100%.
Because, oh Lord, that man.
Brought to you by William Jackson Harper wearing a tight pink t-shirt.
Yes. But, oh my God. Generally hot as well. But, massive chest.
The entire scene of his breakdown in the lecture theatre, all I was doing was staring at his biceps. I could not stop looking at his arms, and I realize I am being very, very objectifying right now.
Not to objectify.
Hey.
We love William Harper Jackson because William Jackson... You've messed me up now. We love William Jackson Harper for his mind, his acting ability, and also his abs.
All of the above.
And that is what this episode has been brought to you by.
All of the above.
Our appreciation for all of the above.
Yeah.
Do up.
Beep, beep, beep.
So, here's what I want to talk about. Now that they know for a fact, they've been told by Michael, they are certain they're going to hell no matter what they do. Mm-hmm. So now that they're acting good again, their motivations are good again.
Yes.
Which means they have the chance of getting back. The question I have is, do we think they're going to figure this out? Or do we think this is the way they're going to go forward? Because we've had these sort of paradigm shifts happen multiple times before, where they, end up in a different way of, trying to improve themselves and get better. And so this is the thing, as soon as they sort of got into that, as soon as they each started coming to their own individual realization of why they should be good anyway, even if there's no reward, I'm like... That's great. That's a great distillation of, some of the moral philosophy lessons they've been putting out. Mm-hmm. But it's still, are they still going to eventually realize that, oh, now that I've realized this, my actions are having a good consequence, and that's immediately going to stuff them up?
Yeah.
What do you think?
I don't know. I think whenever they're set on this path of, following the lessons that Chidi teaches them, there's sort of a snowball effect of their actions delivering on the lessons that they learn more and more, that they...
Well, we saw that explicitly this time, where he, Chidi was literally, laying out the broad strokes of the way moral philosophers think you should lead an ethical life.
Yes.
And it was shown mostly in Tahani and Jason's actions, but then also in Eleanor's.
Yeah, exactly. And I feel like it just is a testament to what Michael is constantly saying, that when they are together, they are the best versions of themselves. And I feel like now that they're in the know of things, it's only going to get better. At least that's what I hope. I can't say that that's what's actually going to happen, because you never know.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a good... I don't know. It's complicated. It's so complicated.
It's a whole lot of timey-wimey, Jeremy Bearimy stuff.
Oh my God. This whole Jeremy Bearimy thing 100% reminded me of Doctor Who. The minute they said Jeremy Bearimy, I was like, this is timey-wimey, wibbly-wobbly timey-wimey.
What I love is that, the describing timey-wimey wobbly stuff, it literally is the words Jeremy
Yes,
Bearimy.
exactly. And...
with a little dot for the eye,
Yes.
where it's that's Tuesdays and July and also never.
Yes, and this is going to bring me to here's what I want to talk about. The concept of time and everything just being, the universe in general being so unbelievably complicated and unknown to us. And if we put ourselves into the shoes of a person like Chidi, where we're trying to constantly understand the universe and put it into these like set categories or whatever, it gets to be too much when it all comes crashing down around us.
Well, it's sort of like, this is kind of a retread of the existential crisis that Michael went through.
Exactly.
Because he was confronted with his own mortality for the first time.
Exactly.
And Chidi is now confronted with actual definitive proof that all he's doing is worthless now.
Yes, exactly.
Like it was once worthwhile. It was
once worthful.
worthwhile is the word that I was looking for there. It was once worthwhile, but now that he knows the truth, it is never going to be useful again in his mind.
Yeah.
So it's like, so of course he'd go through another existential crisis as well, manifesting in eating marshmallow chilies.
I feel like this is the first time he's actually had an existential crisis, right? Like everyone else has been able to go through theirs in one form or another. Like Jason having his entire life being a train wreck, and Tahani going through her removing herself from the spotlight phase, and Eleanor going through this era of wanting to be a good person, whereas Chidi has always sort of been put on this pedestal in the show as someone who has always followed.
Well, because Chidi is always so anxious in his everyday life.
Yes.
He always is thinking about everything. So, like, clearly in, like, his mind and the minds of a lot of anxious people, the idea is that, oh, if I think about this enough, I'll be able to anticipate any problems and fix any problems, even though, like, your anxiety is itself becoming a problem.
Yeah.
And so this is the first time where he's like, I can't think my way out of this.
Yeah.
It's not that, like, oh, I'm taking too long to think about this and that's annoying people. It's that no matter how long I spend thinking of this, I'm doomed.
Yeah. And I really like the fact that, like, Michael and Janet don't try and make any excuses for the way that the universe works to make him feel better or put a Band-Aid over it or whatever, you know? They're just sort of like, I mean, if this is going to be your reaction, then, dude, this is going to be your reaction.
Yeah.
And hopefully it'll get you to where you will go, and thankfully he has Eleanor there to pull him back to reality again.
I do think, like... I do think they could have tried a little harder to explain away the fancy door. Because, like, I would think, yeah, portal to another world, dimensions, you know, aliens, demons, whatever.
Yeah.
You didn't have to fully go into explaining, like, the afterlife, because that was really what doomed them.
Yeah.
But I'm also like, anything else would have been kind of a half measure from the writers. That they're like, no, we want to get into this. Yeah. And anything else, we're just delaying the inevitable when they do find out.
Not to mention that I can imagine if they didn't do what they did by explaining all of it, that we would be then taking up Eleanor's position of being like, this is not good enough. Which she literally says to them, would also, right?
Like, when the four of them found out, they would be pissed.
Yeah, exactly. 100%. And she doesn't take it, and neither would the audience.
She sees through his bullshit.
As per usual. Yeah. Yeah.
Although I did truly want to see, like, Rick Justice and Frenchie, whatever, paranormal investigators teaming up with Team Cockroach. Like, that would be so good.
The, like, 2 minutes that it lasted was everything to me.
Yeah. Even though, like, clearly, like, Eleanor never thought it was right.
No.
But, like, I was just like, oh, yes, please let them, like, hunt down demons together or something. But then, no.
Oh, and then Michael being like, I had a plan, you guys. I wanted to kill you. Like, no, Michael. You think that's comforting, but it's not. It's really kind of you, but no. One more thing that I would really like to mention real quick is when Tahani and Jason come in and state that they've been married, Janet's reaction, oh my God. I felt
so much for her.
I had like a mini heart attack for her. The way that her turning to Michael and both of them looking at each other, Janet's entire life crumbling around her in that moment, just heartbreaking.
It's also, like, interesting because, like, we didn't actually see much of the explanation that Michael gave them.
Yeah.
So clearly, like, included in that explanation was not a description of, like, Jason and Janet's relationship.
Yeah.
So, like, he didn't know, and Janet didn't tell him. And, like, obviously, like, when Tahani was like, oh, it's just platonic, it was just, like, give him money, Janet is so relieved.
Yeah.
But it's like, they're going to have to confront that at some point. And, like, how's Janet going to take that? Because she loves this guy, and he doesn't really know her.
Yeah. Especially considering that, I don't know, did they explain what Janet was? They didn't go into that.
They haven't seemed to. Well, I mean, yeah, it's sort of like we need to figure out how much they've been told.
Yeah. I feel like they'll probably do that later on in the next episode when they actually have more one-on-one interactions with Michael and Janet. And I'm really excited to see how Janet interacts with Jason one-on-one now.
One thing I'm interested to see, because, like, we know Janet really loves Jason and has a hard time letting him go.
Yeah.
I wonder, are they going to end up together? Mm-hmm. Or do we think we're actually going to see a semi-healthy version of them breaking up?
Oh.
Where, like, he doesn't know her, and I'm sure, like, if they got to know each other, then potentially, like, they could get back together.
Yeah.
But, like, because she knows so much about him, that might just not really be feasible.
Oh.
But, like, it is Jason, so, like, from the beginning, he's known that, like, she's a otherworldly being who knows way too much about him. So that might not be a bridge to overcome.
Yeah, and also because he's quite thick.
Yeah.
I don't think he's going to think about it that much.
No. But it will be
Sorry,
interesting to see,
Jason.
like, whether, like, now that she's even more developed than she was. Has she been
But-
rebooted since...
No, well,
No.
isn't that the thing, is that she can no longer keep learning because she's back on Earth, right? So she's actually stopped her developing...
Well, she stopped her updates.
She stopped her updates, so that's made her less robotic,
Yeah, I
not a
think,
robot,
I think she's potentially becoming more, like...
and more
human-like.
human, right? Yeah.
So, yes, it'll be interesting to see, like, do they potentially break up? And, like, who would be the cause of that? Like, would it be her deciding, no, I shouldn't pursue this anymore? And, like...
But who's to say that they break up?
Maybe she ends up with Larry Hemsworth.
Crazy fan theory.
I mean, if Tahani's gonna have Jason, then, like, Janet's gonna steal Larry.
But we've already seen Tahani and Jason get together. That's not unfeasible. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to go back to one of my fan theories that I have mentioned previously about certain characters being good place people. We did not see Simone in this episode. And whether or not she'll probably not be clued in because she's not privy to that information. No. But her relationship with the group is going to change, obviously. And how that pans out, I'm really interested to know. But meeting the bartender, the new bartender that Eleanor comes across, I felt like he was a mirror image of Simone in a lot of ways. And
that's actually because he mentioned the whole thing of, like, what we owe to each other. So
yeah,
that was, like, what Michael
exactly.
said.
And it was a lot of the same things that we've heard so much from Michael talking to the gang about in previous seasons, that he sounds like he's really knowledgeable about how to talk to somebody like Eleanor in a moment where she's going through something that would generally probably make a normal person really pissed off and back off, right?
I feel like that might just be because he's a bartender, so he's used to talking to people to get, like, tips.
But he's giving her free drinks.
Yeah, but again, like, that's the, like, force of Eleanor's personality.
I guess.
I think potentially he's just there to be, like, a nice foil to her.
Okay.
I don't know that he's necessarily going to be, like, a recurring character.
No.
But what you said about that, it did make me think. Larry turned up at a very interesting time.
Yeah.
And makes me wonder, is he potentially not necessarily working on behalf of the bad place, because Tahani's met him before, but, like, is there someone, like, are the agents of the bad place still out there working behind the scenes?
Yeah, like, we don't know how much control is going on the other characters that are entering into these guys' life. Whether or not there is any control. Like, we are very much assuming that there are other hands at play here. But I feel like it's not a stretch to say that there is, considering the amount of crazy stuff that has happened so far.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Oh. Woo! Ooh, the intrigue builds. I'm excited.
Same. It's time for the good word.
The good word. I would like to just make a little shout out to one of our favorite podcasts that brings me joy every single day. Harry Potter and the Sacred Text.
Oh, I thought you were going to say the good chat.
I mean, then we would just be shouting ourselves out.
Exactly. We need to support ourselves.
Sure, fair enough. We could also do that. But let's not be self-serving in this moment.
No.
I would just really like to say that, I mean, Harry Potter in general, the Harry Potter universe has always given me such joy. I am currently wearing my Harry Potter jumper,
And we're sitting next to your Harry Potter wand.
I mean, and I have a Harry Potter tattoo. I'm crazy, but in a great way. And they just bring me so much joy to a world that I felt like I already knew, but I'm seeing in a different way. And I know that Kieran feels the same way about them too.
Harry Potter and Sacred Text is such a good podcast because they for those who haven't listened, you should definitely listen. This is another not sponsored,
Shout out.
Another shout out. Us it's an official suggestion. This podcast, Harry Potter and the Sacred Text, they read through each chapter of Harry Potter and sort of examine it through a different theme. And the two people involved, they both went to divinity school, so they bring these sort of reading practices that are usually applied to sacred texts like the Bible or the Torah or the Quran, but they apply it to Harry Potter, and it's really interesting how much they can pull out of it because they're examining it with the same level of intensity and heart and I guess belief.
Yeah.
And it's really interesting what they pull out. And even though it is sort of essentially just sort of an in-depth literary analysis, and but it's so cool, and it comes from a really great, value-driven place.
And you're getting so much from a thing that I feel like I really know Harry Potter, but I feel like I'm getting so much out of this world that I didn't think about before. So, yes. Shout out to Harry Potter and the Sacred Text.
Yeah. The Great Kiwi Bake Off has started.
Yes!
It is lovely. It is just as kind and warm as the Great British Bake Off. The judges maybe aren't as nice as the Great British Bake Off ones, but they're still nice. And the hosts are amazing. Hayley Sproul and Madeline Sami. They're both amazing and hilarious. And it's just really sweet. And they also have Chris Parker, who's a comedian. He does an after show thing called An Extra Slice where he talks to them and eats the winning and losing cakes and just has a great time.
And also, guys, this show is about baking. Yeah. What is not to love? Exactly.
So that's just started. So if you're in New Zealand, which I imagine all of you are, if you're listening to us, TVNZ On Demand, it's free, ad-supported. I freaking love TVNZ On Demand. That's also some of the good news. That's the good word, is TVNZ On Demand.
Yeah. Let's not shout out too early, because they might want to sponsor us.
Thanks, New Zealand, from New Zealand On Air. No, how does it go?
Thanks, New Zealand On Air. Cheers.
Yeah,
very Kiwi.
That was the good word. So thanks for listening to the episode.
Yeah, please do check out Harry Potter and Sacred Text. And
also check out us on SoundCloud, and we're on iTunes. Give us a review. It would be amazing if half of our listener base gave us reviews.
That would be amazing. And yeah, I'm Anush Chibi.
I'm Kieran Kraft.
And you've been listening to The Good Chat. Go do something chat.
Go do something chat.